I'm FaceKillerPanda, and I currently have the world record in this category, and I'm going to do a tutorial for it, so if anyone wants to play it, it exists. Right, okay, let's get started. So the timing starts as soon as you press this button. So I'll press the button on live split. Ta-da. Do spam enter to skip the FMVs as soon as they load. Like so. Ooh.
All right, we can do that.
For tomorrow?
Excuse me, sir.
There's not a lot you can do for a little while.
Please accept this. Compliments.
You just have to let the cutscene run its course. But there's not really that big of a deal on the first two levels.
Give me a little credit, Sam. Don't tell me you don't recognize my voice even after all this time.
Grim, what do you want?
To save your life. We can go from there. A team of armed men just entered the marketplace looking for you. They're closing in on your position. Unless you do exactly what I say, this will be a very short conversation.
I'm not doing a damn thing until you tell me how you found me.
We're third echelon. We've got an eye on everyone.
Now, when she tells you to look up, I usually spam C,
Look up.
because sometimes it will give you a prompt to invert your controls.
I see it.
And so C
Dan, I can
is
take it
the
back up to
normal
C
controls,
altitude
as
and
up is
get
up,
moving.
rather than if you want to
Still
invert
haven't
it,
told me how you found
then
me.
you spam
Move.
space
You've got multiple
and
hostiles
then
inbound on your
move
position.
your mouse down.
And from where you're at, you're a sitting duck. Now get to that group of stalls in the market. There's a lot of cover for you there.
And you won't be able to move
It's like
until
the
about
old days, huh, Grim?
145,
Just like
I
the old
think.
days, Sam. Are you carrying?
Yeah, but I'd rather not risk a firefight when there are civilians around.
That's very noble of you. But right now, what matters to me is getting you out of there in one
And
piece.
you want to try and move
Get to that
Sam
group of booths right
so he
now, or
doesn't
I
hit
can't
any of the
help you, Sam.
NPCs and slows you down.
Everybody leave! Get the fuck
But
out
it's
of
not
here!
an that wasn't that bad. There's only one
Now let's
person
get you a
that
little
got in my
closer
way.
to those targets in the light over there.
I'm there.
You just hold down the cover
Hang on.
button and just
I'm tapping into the
spam
city's power
space to
grid.
get to each
That'll
cover.
let me overload the transformer
Or whatever it
and
is
blow out those
on
lights.
like controller or what you've keybind it to. And once the screen starts fading to white, just hold down W. And just spam space until the door opens. And you go to the light switch
Kiddo, what's wrong?
and just spam space.
I don't like the dark. It's scary. Turn on the light.
And you do that until you turn it back off.
Come on, sweetie. There's nothing to be afraid of in the dark. Sometimes darkness is a good thing. Like when you want to go to sleep.
I could go to sleep with the light
Okay.
on.
Then you just have to sit through this cutscene.
When it's light, you can't see into a place that's dark. But when it's dark, you can see what's around you much better.
Really?
Really. So if there's monsters or bad people around, you can see them. And if you're in the dark, they can't see you.
I can't see you either. Can you please turn the light back on?
Okay. Then how about this? There's one really cool thing I didn't show you yet.
There is? Show me.
Okay, here it is. When you're in the dark and your eyes get used to it, you can see all sorts of things around you really well. And then you can do stuff with them.
Like what?
Now take a look at your mobile. You can see it really well, right? If there were monsters down
Another thing to note
because I can
is that
see
this
them.
game has to
Maybe I could make it fall on
100%
them
be
and
run
they
on
go
the
away.
lowest
Fall on
graphics.
their heads and they
Not the
wouldn't
lowest
back
resolution,
in.
but on the graphic settings has to be on all the way on the low.
Teddy, what was that?
The reason for that
Daddy needs you to stay in bed.
is very apparent in the third level
Just go
on the
shut the door
airfield,
to the
and I'll
back
explain when
room,
that
all right?
happens.
Okay, Daddy, I love
Now
you.
here, you want to stay in cover.
There you go, Sam. Nice and dark, just the way you like it.
Once she finishes talking, that's when you can kill the second dude. I prefer to just wait for her to do the two, so that
What do you got, man? You got anything good?
I 100% don't get a soft lock,
Shit.
because if you kill them too
picked
fast
it,
before she's
asshole.
finished
You should
talking,
Get a couple of thou easy.
the game just soft locks so that third person doesn't appear.
If
If you follow where I run, you can just look down that aim and just... Once you do it a few times, you'll get used to where their heads are. You can just instantly get them. Here, for that entire thing, I was just spamming C. That way you just get the mark and execute. And here, some people have said that if you just hold down Q, you get both of them. My game has never done that before, so I just do. But if your game does work with just holding down Q, it's faster. But It's never worked for me, so I don't do it that way.
Dad, what did you do to them, Dad?
And then in this scene, I think, off the top of my head, this might be the only scene that I use an audio cue and a visual cue. When the screen turns white, I hold down D. When she says Sam, I press Control to uncrouch, because when you go back into this,
Don't
you
check out on
uncrouch.
me.
And that way you can get running as soon as possible. Now
Now
when you get past this box, you run and you slide. You save a little bit of time, and then you just get him. And my camera swung round there. The strat here is to move your camera so it's there, and just spam Q, and as it automatically readjusts your camera, it will go across and you'll mark both of them. And then you just do that. And you just start running over. Just run around, jump over here, and run straight for him. If you just run, there is no way those people will kill you. I don't know for sure if that's the case in realistic. It has worked for me in realistic. It's never not worked, but there could be a possibility that it doesn't. And then here, what you want to do is you want to move them away from the urinals.
I'm not telling you a goddamn thing.
Like that. And then just interrogate him there. The reason for that is because if you interrogate him against the urinal, he'll do a different animation, which is longer. There is one that is faster, but it's minuscule, so I've never really looked it up.
Why does Coben want me dead?
But I guess the interrogations could do with some more optimizing. If you can figure out which animations are the fastest.
Used to brag about it, you know?
I might do that at some point, but for now this is just the standard way we do it.
To kill you before you killed him.
You should refund his money. Where do I find him?
And throughout this you just spam C. That way you just get the interrogation prompt done as soon as it appears.
Oh, I'm not gonna tell him a damn thing.
And then we split as soon as the camera goes under the floor. So, there. And then again, you just spam enter for the cutscene to skip. And then as soon as it skips, you want to press escape. Like that. When you do that, you want to go down to checkpoint. You can do it with your mouse, but I personally find it faster with your down arrow and then enter. There. And then up, enter. Then here, to get through this door faster, you want to activate that prompt, and as soon as you do, walk backwards. It will skip that, and then you can open the door. It's faster than actually waiting for Sam to go under the door, look under, then exiting out of the mirror. And then here, you want to get to the second column, this bit here, jump over there, get to the window. Usually, we can do that, which is faster, because we get straight into the room and you can just run for the door. Occasionally the guy will walk to the window and you'll have to take him out and then you can continue. But for now, we got the good way. So we just run, get the gun out, bash the door, and then we jump down. Then we shoot the chandelier. That way those people can't kill us. And at the weapon stash, we want to get the 5.7, make sure it's fully upgraded, and then we continue. Oh, okay, that's not at all what I wanted to do. Now occasionally, you can drop here and just run straight past him. But usually, you'll have the death room above him and then just do exactly what I did. And you just run past those first two, shoot at the roof ceiling art thing. It will drop on the two guys, stun the others. You shoot that one guy in front of you, and then you just keep running. Because there's no way those guys can kill you. Make sure you pick up those EMPs there that are on that table. And then you just run down. Then in this room, when you see the guy at the panels that open, as soon as you see him stop, throw the first EMP, throw the second EMP further along in that room, pick up the next EMPs, and then just continue with the rest of the room. So like this.
You. Huh? Hey, shit, he's right there. Hey, nobody mess with him.
Turn on the lights. Quick, everybody turn on the goddamn lights. We gotta go in.
And you want to bash that door. Then you jump up here. And we do another retry checkpoint here. You'll see either when the three goggles is when the checkpoint happens, when we can usually utilize this skip, I guess. But the game usually drops a frame, and it's quite noticeable sometimes. And so I usually go off of that because I can see it better. And then you instantly try the checkpoint. And this will get rid of all the people in this room, and you just run up here, run to the window. You want to go right around, spam C, so we drop this dude out the window. And then I have a setup here for where I put my camera so that we can get one of the marks very, very easily in this room. And so I put my mouse there. So where my cursor is there, that's where I get the aim of the reticule. That way we can just move across and get the mark instantly as we get to that window. And you go through here, kill this dude, mark those two, throw an EMP. You can throw another for safety if you want. I don't usually, but you can.
Andre Coben, were you saying something about my dad?
And then if you move him over here,
Yeah, I was just messing with you,
move him
man.
back,
I didn't mean it.
and go a bit
I
better,
swear
about there.
I didn't mean it.
To make it
And you
up
just
to
spam
me,
C for the rest of this level.
tell me why you killed her.
I can't tell you. All you can do is kill me.
Because the reason we get him there is because there's a part where
It was just a job.
you'll
He just
drop
gave
him
me a
out of
picture
your
and
grip,
told me to provide
and you
a
have to pick
body.
him back
That's
up.
all it was, a dump job.
And if you're around this
Good
sort of
enough.
area, if you keep spamming C,
Who
he'll
were
just
you
pick him back
working
up.
for?
I
That way you
can't
don't have
tell
to move
you.
towards him and lose
I'm
that time.
still working for them. They'll gut me if I tell you.
Here.
They're not the ones you should be
There
worried
we go.
about
And
right
then we pick
now.
him straight back up. Then the
You
rest of
okay,
this,
Fisher?
you don't have to press any buttons
bigger
until
than
you
you.
split the level.
They're bigger than me.
And that again is when the camera goes under the floor.
Don't you see? They told me you were coming.
Drop it, Fisher! Drop it now! You won't be hurt!
Sam, you need to go with them.
The hell I do.
Please. You have to trust me on this one.
If you're talking to the Ice Queen, Fisher, I'd advise you to listen. She knows all sorts of things you'd be interested in.
Then the next level,
What took you so
there's
fucking
5
long?
minutes of just the cutscene with Grim. But you just can't make any faster.
Ghost Hawk 1, we've secured Panther and are ready to return to base.
All right, Grim. You get this one. But if it's a setup,
It's sort of, in my opinion, it's a good way if you're learning it, just because it breaks up these two levels in an airfield. But we split here, and then you again spam enter to get through this FMV.
I'll be happy when we drop off Sleeping Beauty.
So low breed. I saw his people out by his...
And then there's nothing you can do with this cutscene, and it's 5 minutes long. Well, just under 5 minutes long, but including the FMV, it makes it about 5 minutes.
free, man.
Colonel
So you
Prentice,
just have to sit through this
Major
cutscene.
Robertson. We don't have time to chat. Our timetable says your men need to move.
Everything's operational, Director Reed.
But
We start deployment
This is
at
the first
9
level where we
this morning.
utilize some of the
Good,
skips that we
keep things
found.
going on your end. I'm heading back to
One of the
third
major
echelon
ones that we
prepping
use here is
our
a
people
pistol clip,
just fine. Never had any doubts.
which
Now,
was
gentlemen,
found
if you'll
by
excuse
Sir
us,
Kirchu, if you want to check
I
him
need a
out.
minute with Miss Grimstarter here.
Because without him, we would not have found it,
Loose
and
end that needs tying off.
a lot of these skips would not exist.
Right.
And then the one at the beginning of the level,
Fisher's all yours,
I
then.
found out
You
of
packaged him for us in Malta. You get
sheer
that
luck,
wrapper
really.
here. Find out what he knows about the EMPs, how he knows it, and why he's been hunting our friend Mr. Coben.
Might take a while, Tom. He's been trained to resist interrogation.
I'm authorizing you to use whatever persuaders you need, chemical or otherwise. Get the answers, and dispose of them. Just don't be as messy this time.
Well, I'll keep that in mind. Anything else?
Just get to it. And call me when you have something. I'll be at HQ.
Listen to me. I'm working for President Caldwell as a mole inside Third Echelon. Reed's the new director, and he's working hand-in-hand with our hosts here, a PMC called Black Arrow. They're running a pipeline for stolen Russian EMP tech through Malta, and Reed's stonewalling any kind of investigation into it.
Reed's stonewalling the president.
He's got serious political coverage from somewhere, and the president isn't getting anywhere through channels. We know they're in the final stages of prep for something very ugly, but what we don't know is what it is or where it's going down.
Really? Then again, you seem more interested in field work these days.
Stop it. I need you to do this. The second I make a move, my cover is blown.
Hey bro, how's it going?
You're on the outside now. You are free to act.
I don't do this sort of thing anymore.
Tell that to the men you killed in Malta. Now, if you don't make it look like you escaped and attacked me, I'm dead. So make it look good, Sam. Hit me. Do what you have to do.
Grim, let me remind you, I'm out of the game.
You're not out. All it took was one hint about her. Only one hint about Sarah, and you dove right back in.
What do you know about her?
And here, we just spam C so we can interrogate her.
I know she's alive. How's that for starters?
You're lying. She's dead. Lambert told me she was dead, and I take his word over yours.
She's alive, Sam, and I know where she is. I've known all along.
You're lying.
Then we just spam C again here.
Because my people have her. If you help me, you get to see her again. If you don't, it's out of my hands.
Do not lie to me about this, or I'll kill you. You understand me? I will kill you.
Sam, I've been lying to you about this for years.
And then we're done with all the inputs in this cutscene.
Okay.
This is live gameplay. I'm just doing it on Twitch just because I think it'd be easier to explain all the...
Good
like,
work.
Shut up.
Some of the skips can be like temperamental. So even if they don't go right, that's the whole point of this tutorial. It's just do them again and just sort of explain it a bit better. But this will be uploaded onto YouTube.
With this phone. The signal's encrypted.
In case you get lonely.
It's just so that a
can
tutorial
set up
of this
a call with
game
Sarah
in its
to
most
prove
recent
to me
state
that
exists.
She's alive and unharmed. Now we need to get you out of here without them coming after you. C4 should help with that. There's some right outside. Get it and call me back.
I don't get the gun.
Just point it at the right people.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, just instantly run forward and open the door. And then we run this way. And here you want to kill the guy to get his YouTube. You want to get his MP5, that way you can instantly kill the next two dudes. So you can either stand here, aim at his head, so you can get a bit of easy, or you can do that. And I personally use the numbers for all the gadgets. So number 1 is your pistol, number 2 is your gun. And then once you get his gun, after he's dead, you just shoot these two. And normally we would get the C4 in a normal game, but because now we're going to use skips, we want to get to this bush here. You want to go over here, and you want to move right. You don't want to use W at all. You want to look roughly there, and then when you get to that corner of the bush, I'll do that again. When you get to about there, that's when you start using W. That way you move into the bush a bit. That way you sort of clip up the bush. So as you go around that corner, you then start doing W, and you just sort of keep moving left and right with a bit of W until you get on top, get to about here. I don't want to be right next to that pole. You want to try and roll off and swing your camera around. So you want to do that. That wasn't very good. So, like that. And the reason for that is because when Sam rolls off of something that he shouldn't be on, he does a little like elevation thing. And so because of that, you can sort of get through walls because of that. And because the fence acts as one, you swing your camera through it. And this fence here doesn't exist as a model, so you can walk through it. And the reason you have to run it on low is because in front of this fence, there's a bunch of bushes that you cannot get through whatsoever. Now on this little bit here, you can walk up a part of it. I'll explain that. If you see where his legs are weird. So you want to walk so you're roughly about that angle. And then you do a roll again and swing your camera that way again. So let's see if that works. Like that. You want to swing your camera enough so that you sort as if you're aiming to get on top of the tires. If you do that, works pretty much every time. You want to get to here, get these EMPs. That way you have them in your inventory when you get the weapon stash. I go off of the shadows here. If you go into where the shadows start, you won't go into the items, like the objects. You want to make sure you pick up those grenades. I'm going way too fast for myself. The grenades are on the table there, if you didn't notice. You want to 100% make sure you get them, otherwise you can't do the skip. And make sure you throw them, because we've noticed problems that if you don't do that, they will most likely kill you when you try and do the skip. But we pick them up so that they appear in the weapon stash. You want to make sure you get the upgraded 5.7 again. That way we can kill them a bit easier when we get there. So, this skip that I'm about to go to took a while for me to get consistent. If my setup doesn't work for you, and that's I run here along the wall into this corner. But if this setup doesn't work for you, I 100% would play around with it until it works for you and you get a sort of consistency with it, and then use that. But once I've got into this corner, I stop, make sure my cursor is in the center of this tire, and then I throw the grenade, and I look just above that part of the pole there. And then Sam will be on top of the tires. Then we get into cover on them. Now this is where the pistol clip comes into play. You want to move Sam along the wall, and as his elevation goes back down even the slightest part, you want to press W as if he's going to look over the cover. So hopefully this will translate well, and that's as soon as he goes down. Now you can see I'm slightly through the wall. I'm still holding down W even throughout that. I'm letting it go, and then all you do is you let go of the cover and you go straight through it. Except that didn't work. That didn't work. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the last part twice. I'm gonna make sure I have all the grenades here, because there's one strat for the end of the level for if you have grenades, and one if you don't. If you run out of grenades here, it's probably better if you run back and get the grenades. I will explain to you in a second if you run out of grenades and you don't want to, and if you retry the checkpoint, all of the enemies will still be there, and so you'll have to do this completely normally, which sucks. So again, we run into this corner like that, throw the grenade at the center of this, aim just above that part of the pole. Usually, again, like I said, it's not very consistent. It took me probably about a day or two to even get this consistent at all. So we'll just do that again until we're back on the tires. There we go. I'm going to do it much quicker now, but if you want to skip back and check how I said and explained it. And that was even worse. Ah, dear. I can't even do it now. Right. Okay, he went backwards. If he hadn't done that, would have gone there. There is another way of doing this, is if you look over cover, swing your camera around and unlook on cover. If you look that way and do that again, it's a much more consistent way of getting through walls when we have to do that. That one usually doesn't work like that, but I did that just to sort of explain a better way of doing it if you can't do that, like I couldn't for a while there.
Sam, bad news.
Now,
fine, but I have to push back the call.
this is a very good place
Stop playing games.
if you have the two grenades,
You've got my daughter on the line.
because what you do is you throw one right there, one in the middle, throw an EMP, shoot him. Okay. This went terribly. That is not what usually happens. Usually, if you throw the grenade further along, and then one sort of further closer to you, so at the back of that fence, one a bit in the center of that area, anywhere that there's people will usually get blown up, and then those one that was next to the door there, right there, that dude that I just killed there, and then that dude there, you just shoot with your pistol. They usually die pretty quickly. And then what you do is move around here, and then shoot him once. And that's that area completely done. If, in case you could not get those grenades whatsoever, and then if you've sort of got the rundown consistently, you might automatically retry the checkpoint. If you do that, the enemies will be appeared. You can still do the grenade clip. It's harder because if there's people around, you don't regain health as much. Just put that out there. And all we do is go in here. Click this. Jump through the window and open the door. And then again, when the camera goes through the wall, you split. Commander Root, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream and the tutorial, I guess. I appreciate the follow. Right. Now, this level isn't consistent in any way possible. It's entirely down to AI. But there are a few parts, if you follow what I do, usually for the most part works. So, what we want to do is we want to walk sideways for as long as possible. And you want to go against this, like, I don't know what this is called, like, tiny fence. We'll call it a tiny fence. I don't actually know what it's called in real life. But, literally just sort of look down at the floor and move left. If you move sideways, that's a bot, okay. If you move sideways, you move slightly faster. If you get to that rock, on the side of the screen where it says how far away from the area you need to go to in meters is, I usually wait for it to get to 168, and then I start looking. And you see that guy there? That's the one we need to kill. So if you follow exactly as I do, I'll try and do it as easy as follow as possible. So after doing that, we go over here, shoot him, kill him. And we need to kill this dude here. Then we just keep running. And we want to get behind that blue truck for safety. And then we get to this car. They lined up pretty well for me. But again, like I said, the AI can be a bit temperamental there. And again, move sideways. I usually use the white lines on the road as a guidance, just sort of closer to that side of the road than the white line, otherwise you will hit some boxes. Once you get to this truck, I usually turn around that way you can move this way. And then again, we just move sideways until we get to here. And then I move sort of closer to where that was going, get to here, move a bit in. You'll get used to where those like pits of pavement are, but again, like you just saw there, you can sort of hit them sometimes. It's not a big deal. But here we want to throw a grenade so we kill some people. That way we'll get through this a bit easier. And then we shoot a barrel to kill another person so we don't die during this section. So if you follow as I do, start looking up, throw a grenade at those, and shoot him with the barrel. If they don't all die, you can shoot that barrel and then they should all be dead. If they didn't, just keep following that sort of guidelines and like change it up a little for yourself if it doesn't work. And again, we just move sideways through all this. Once we get to here, we want to run towards this guy behind there, shoot him, and we want to shoot the red barrel there. That's all we need to do, just run, shoot that dude, shoot the barrel, and then we want to run in through there and get on cover just by that door there. During that, I usually reload. I get into cover here so we can kill that guy, and then that guy. I used to not. It's a much more risky strat, and you're more likely to die. And then here you want to throw a grenade at the 3 people. So it usually kills 2 of them, sometimes it kills 3, but the 3rd person you usually just shoot. So run over here, throw a grenade there, and then shoot one of them. I might die here. That was very sloppy, but again, the sort of gist of just throw the grenade, they'll start running away from it. That gives you a few seconds of time to get closer to that blue gate there. And then you usually shoot the one that's closer to you or moves further away from the grenade. If you shoot the one, hopefully if you throw it at the back too, that way the one closer to you can shoot so that you get less of the recoil and bloom active. And then here, you just run around here, and then we throw the grenade through there. It can sort of hit the boxes and the chair, so you want to make sure you get used to where you have to throw that grenade. Oh, I came out of the menu and my mouse played up. So again, we just do that, throw it through, and then shoot him. When that explodes, all of those people that are behind there will die. And here, you want to just shoot him. Usually goes behind that cover or moves closer. He will eventually move over there, but you can go around them. He usually is there, and that other one is usually there until he moves around, where I killed him over there. So you want to just get on cover, shoot that first person. If you do it fast enough, you can swing around. If that first person didn't shoot you, I would swing around. If he did, then I'd wait for you to get your health back, or just as he moves across onto the desk further in where the doorway is, shoot him there. It's just so if you're not on full health and you look at those 2 people, they usually most likely will kill you. And it's a very annoying level overall. And then here we just bash through this door, shoot, and then shoot the 2, and then we rescue Sam. It's pretty straightforward, that room. Not too much there. There is a very small skip that skips about 10 seconds here. It is very temperamental, and so it's usually only a risky strat. It is on my channel if you try and find. I think it's called Iraq Mini Skip. I think that's what I named it. If you want to look for it, you can do that and try that. Possibly make it more consistent for yourself. If you do, all the better. Now here, the second we get back into the game, we want to move to the cover, but not get into cover, and just scope down the AK, and that way we can get 2 kills straight off the bat, because this entire section is dependent on how many kills you get until the next level starts. So we move over here, we kill those 2. Then what we do is we get into cover, kill this guy here, and then there's a dude that comes behind the truck, and that way you've killed 2 there. You shoot the barrel up there, look over here, shoot the barrel up there, and then we just throw a grenade there, and then throw a grenade there. I usually split. This is just because before splits were standardized on this game. The second I lose control of Vic there. But personally, I would recommend splitting when the whole screen goes black, because that is the full level change. This is still Iraq, because if you can skip retry checkpoint here, but it will take you back onto this level. So the split should be there. That's when you should split.
We're not going anywhere.
I don't, just because I did this before that was standardized, and so I do it differently. And then as soon as the next level starts, that when you split, that's when it turns into an FMV. You press spam enter to skip it, and then you get to here, you do the retry checkpoint, skip again, and then you can instantly get control of Sam.
Hey Sam,
you start moving forward.
Black Arrow wants to crash our party.
It's not a secret that we know each other, Vic. They're watching you, hoping to catch me.
Now this level, as long as you follow the route I go, probably one of the, if not the easiest level of the game.
Serious, Sam. If they spot you or the crowd does, the meat is on.
Just, it's pretty much just following the exact route I go. You want to make sure. I usually run out into the light a little, because there's a spot where he can't be seen if you punch him, which is about there. A little further than that as well.
Why are you following me?
But if you want to play it safe, you can wait till he gets into the dark, until you get more used to how far you can go. But apart from that, just bring him here. Make sure you don't hit him
Talk to me about Victor Koss.
anywhere near some objects, otherwise that will slow down the interrogation.
I swear.
And then we move him sort of closer to here, that way we're closer to the next interrogation. And if he's far along in this area, you can jump across there and it will save some time. If he isn't that far, I would recommend just running into it, because if you jump over, he can detect you, and that will ruin the mission.
You're Fisher. Don't hurt me. I don't know
Bring him to about here.
Tell me about your plans for me.
And then we will do another retry checkpoint here.
Fisher. I was supposed to call it in when we saw you. Backup's waiting. Ready to take you in.
Time for a change of plans, then.
So usually once you drop him, I usually move my mouse in circles, and then I can see the frame drop, which is there. Sometimes, like now, it doesn't come up with the free goggles. That's why I don't rely on that. But sometimes it will, and then just here you just retry the checkpoint. Then you want to run as soon as the retry checkpoint starts. Run past, go into this dark area, and then we just wait for him to come to us, basically. We grab him.
Got a minute to talk.
Oh shit! You're Fisher, are you? Oh shit!
Ah, I got him against the wall.
Why are you following Victor?
You want to move him so that hopefully we can get into this little
We're waiting for you. Told to call it in when we saw you.
area as quick as possible. So you can just move towards it. You don't have to press crouch at all. Then we go around here. Run.
What do you think?
And like in the first level, we slide there. That way we get the most distance before we have to start walking. And then you can move sideways there if you're used to it, or if you learn where you have to look. I usually use the slabs on the floor as a good indicator of where I need to go. And then we just get into here. Cutscene in here.
Put this on. We don't have a lot of time. Those spotters had to have backup. So we'll go over the basics here, cover the rest by phone.
Sounds good.
And move back to the door and just spam space, like we did with the light switch on the first level.
Shut up, Sam. There's no time. You'll also find something I borrowed from a buddy over at DARPA. It's a portable EMP generator. Low intensity, short range. The bag's shielded so you can stash your gear in there, but hit the trigger, you'll fry everything around you to use as juice.
Nice. What else do you have for me?
There's a file in the bag, but here's the short version. There's an R&D house called Whitebox, a DoD contractor that does work on EMP technology.
So,
6 months ago, they suddenly contract out all their security to those assholes over at Black Arrow. Now, that's a breaking pattern for them. They don't do corporate security. And based on what you told me about them...
There might be a connection.
Bingo. It's slim, but you've gone fifth freedom based on less. All right. Time for you to go. And you ping me when you reach safe distance, and we'll talk more about Whitebox before you go in.
Will do. Stay safe, Vic.
By order of the Department of Public Works, this fair and the museum are now closed. We have
And once we
detected
get through
gas
here,
leak on site.
you want to straight run back in. And then we want to use our EMPs first before we use our remote mines. So usually I use it when I get fully detected there, because sometimes the light EMP will carry over to here. So when you get fully detected, use EMP, run that route. When we get to sort of here, or if you get detected by one of the people, use another, and we just jump straight over here. Move into here. You want to go under here. I usually, as soon as I'm under, use the portable EMP and then jump over. That way no one sees me jump over. So use another there, and that will stun them all, and we can just run past. We don't have EMPs left. Change to remote mines. Go down here. You want to swing around. You want to make it so that the remote mine hits the barbecue. That way it causes a much bigger explosion and kills everyone here. So boom. Then if we aim into the back of that car over there, you can sometimes kill the dudes over here very quickly. So, like that. I didn't kill all of them. Just usually throw another. You've got an extra 3 there to use. And we just keep holding down W this entire time.
All those years you were lying to me.
You don't have to kill all of them as long as you get to that trigger fast enough.
And I would do it again in a heartbeat.
And then the split is when there's a frame of black in the white. So it's usually about there. And then again, we just spam enter. And then we do a retry checkpoint.
When Sam...
Like that. Then we want to change to a flashbang, which on the numbers across the top of your keyboard, here is a good place to know, especially with knowing the remote mines. 1 is the pistol. 2 is your secondary, like any guns you pick up, like shotguns, whatever. 3 is frag grenades. 4 is flashbangs. 5 is EMP grenades. 6 is remote mines. 7 is sticky cameras. 8 is portable EMPs. 9 is proximity mines if you buy them in the extras part of the menu, on the main menu. And then 0 is the detonator for remote mines, if you want to put more than one remote mine down. But here you want to change to flashbangs, so we press number 4. And then when he detects you, just throw a flashbang at him, jump over there, throw another one at him, and then we just keep running. And here I usually preemptively change over to the remote mines, ready for the skips on this level. And this level is heavily broken, so you might have to practice this a lot more than any of the others so far, other than possibly Iraq, because that is an annoying mission. But we just practically spam space. As far as I know, if you go to this part of the wall here, where this prompt comes up, it's faster to just jump up than take the pole that's right there. And then we just move around. And then as soon as we can get to the railing up there, we jump over, because we run faster than we shimmy along. And so we just keep going up. And then I will definitely do all of this very slowly. So you want to just drop down as soon as you can. Here you want to move into this corner. If you look over the edge and you get a remote mine hit you, you will instantly fall out of bounds. Not all the way down, but you'll definitely get onto this ledge here that you usually can't. So I usually, in easy, I will put along this like straight line here. You can sort of see like where I'm with the edge of that, as it lines up with that. It's a good spot right there to where they put the remote mine. You then swing your camera back round so that Sam's sort of like leaning over the edge. You explode it, and then you're sort of out of bounds on this ledge here. And then there's two ways you can do the skip. Is as soon as, like the very last moment you can, you want to hold down control, or whatever the button is on control, I can't remember, or whatever you've keybind it to, you want to hold it down to make sure that Sam slides. He does the slide animation rather than just crouch. So I'll do that here. We just run. Last second, we slide. That didn't work. Doesn't always, but again, we can show how we get to do that. Put our remote mine there. Swing back round. Explode it, and we're back on there. Then we run across, and we slide at the last minute. That way, because sliding gets the most distance in the shortest period of time, that way we can get on top of this pipe here. And here you want to be extra careful, because if we go on the top, we can't go past because this one's too high. If we go slightly on the side without falling off, we can go under like that. And then we want to get up onto this ledge. So like with the bush, you can do this to get the W, A and D. That way his legs sort of glitch out and you increase your elevation on the pipe. And then we just get onto this little barrier here. Make sure not to fall onto this here, otherwise you can't get back up unless you use some more remote mines to get back over. So like there is very scary because it pushes you out of it a bit. And then as soon as you line up yourself with this pole, you want to make sure you roll off rather than just fall off, because that little bit there doesn't count as a model, and so you'll just fall through it. So you want to make sure you roll. You want to run to the edge of here. When you're near the end, you want to roll towards that line of the pipe there. So we go like that. That way we're on this pipe. Now if you want to get Sam to roughly where those bullet holes are, look towards sort of where my cursor is. So a little bit at that pole there. You just want to walk off. That way Sam doesn't take any damage and he doesn't land on the window there and get caught. Now here, as we move down this pipe here, you want to roll into this direction there. So you want to get up against the wall, and as we go down you want to make sure you roll and don't move your camera this time. So we just roll. Then we land on here. Usually take some damage, so make sure not to do this very fast and fall down there. To safely do it, just hold down W as soon as you're against this wall. Just hold down W to get onto this. And if you crouch, go across, we drop down here, and you just keep running until you get the checkpoint here. You'll see the frame drop or the free goggles there. If you drop onto that little catwalk, you're stuck there, and you'll have to retry that entire section from that first remote mine again. So from here, we just retry the checkpoint, and you just spam space, so we jump over the barrier. So we start here, we just jump over, we drop down. You want to, it'll change it to EMPs automatically. You want to jump over this little box here, follow the route I go, and usually when I get back into the shadow, I use the EMP there. So again, you just follow that route. Soon, usually between when you get detected by that guard and when you get back into another shadow, you use the EMP there. and you jump straight over. If you can, activate that as soon as possible. If you can't, use an EMP and then activate that as soon as possible. The reason we don't kill anyone there is because, like you just saw, they shot me out of that cutscene, but because it counts it as finishing the cutscene, it'll create a checkpoint, and we just retry the checkpoint as soon as we get shot out of that animation. That way, we're just instantly at the next bit, and we don't have to watch that entire cutscene. Sometimes the game will make you watch it because the shots that the enemies do don't take you out of the animation. But for the most part, you can either do that, fully stun everyone with as many EMPs, grenades, whatever you want, and then just throw a grenade sort of close to yourself, not directly underneath you because you're near enemies and it will kill you. But you can use a grenade, which is number 3 on the keyboard, to instantly take you out of that checkpoint. That way you can just instantly skip it. Here I changed the remote mine, so that's number 6. Wait for them all to get together and then explode. Then I throw another one at some dudes there.
Maybe I'll go look for this galleot everyone's talking about.
That way, everyone here is dead apart from this dude. You just throw some EMPs. That way he can't kill you while you're just running straight for the end of the trigger, for the end of the level. And like before, the split is when the camera goes under the ground. There. And again,
how did Sam get on site
spam enter.
Memorial?
Here we don't use a retry checkpoint because it doesn't do anything. But here you want to press W and D as soon as you load it. I usually give maybe half a second before I press W, half a second, and then press D. So I'm holding both W and D.
We thought of that, Mr. Fisher.
And that way, once the camera goes to you, you can then sort of walk to where you need to walk to.
And what's plan B?
The reason I don't press both of them straight away is because sometimes the game doesn't take 2 inputs as soon as you load in. And if it does, sometimes you'll hit the fence and you'll just stop.
Alright, I'm on it.
So that's some time lost that's unnecessary. Now this glitch, this skip here, you want to jump through the window. As soon as you jump through the window, there'll be a frame drop and a checkpoint. So as soon as you're in, you can retry checkpoint. As soon as you do that, do another retry checkpoint. If it works for you, it didn't just then, you'll skip this entire camera skip completely. So some of the ways you can try that again is by activating that, retrying a checkpoint, breaking the door, retrying the checkpoint, just retrying the checkpoint, just standing still.
Let's go after Reed.
That time it works. This is a very temperamental skip. We don't know why it works whatsoever. It just does. This skip does not work on Uplay version of this game. If you want to run this game, do it on the Steam version. That way, all of the skips will work.
No, the smart play is the
because there's
we can find
some in third echelon, and I believe the grenade skip on airfield doesn't work either on Uplay because you can't clip through a wall. The reason, even though the Steam version goes through Uplay as well, which we have no idea why it works. It's just, if you want to speedrun this, it's much more beneficial if you do it on the Steam version.
Guards!
That way the
Where the hell are my
skips work.
guards?
That is unless you want to route a glitchless category and then possibly show that to the mods, and they might create that category. But personally, I don't see that as a run I would want to do, at least for now. Maybe at some point, but for now we'll just focus on the glitch category.
They're just convenient.
So why does Reed want you out of town?
And like I did, just run up, jump over the barrier, run up, instantly spam C. You want to move him to this corner, so that way you're the least distance from where you need to go to once you can run.
When the EMPs are triggered. There's 3 of them scattered around the city. In a few hours they go off, and he
But with
gets
that camera
to
skip,
play
you can
There are people he wants
either
to
just stand still and keep retrying a checkpoint, open the door, bash the door, open the computer, or even move backwards and jump back through that window. Sometimes if you do that, it just makes the skip work.
I don't
It might
know.
just completely be coincidence.
That's part of the plan.
but because we don't know what causes it, it just works.
It's too big. It's too late. And the people I work for, this is just part of what they've got going on.
Megiddo. Who are they?
Try harder, Fisher.
Megiddo. Who are they?
This is the last
They're the ones
part
who run
until
this
we have to
town.
run.
In Moscow and Beijing.
And
any
for
of
this,
Tyson
if you
Mansion.
follow the exact route I
They're the
go,
ones who are going to
which
get me
if
out
you're
of
watching the
this
YouTube
one
video,
piece.
you can just
And once Reed is finished at the
go
White
back a few seconds and just watch the route I go. It's the fastest way we do it.
Damn it.
Officer in trouble!
Or it's the way I do it, at least.
What's happening?
Galliard's dead. The shooter's running.
We need him alive. He may be our only link between
run
Third Echelon
towards
and
here.
Megiddo.
Go down
I've got a
here.
visual. He's on the stage.
You want to run down here. Back round. Drop down here. And then you want to get into the tent. If you do that, that was a bit slow, just a little bit. You'll get into the tent before any of the people run out. And so you'll save a little bit of time there. But again, it's literally just a route you have to follow here. When at this bit, it's sometimes depending on where the police go. But for the most part, if you go where those red, blue and grey boxes are in the centre, if you try as if you're trying to fake them out by going the left-hand side, they'll move to the left-hand side. That way you can just run to the right and then straight past all of them. So we just move to the left. He'll start moving to there. So as you saw the move, the guys move to the left. That way you can just run straight past without them bashing you as you go past. And then we just run round. Jump across. That truck, when it's moving, you can move into it. It's not a fully modelled thing that has any hitbox you can walk into. The reason I mentioned that is because we're still trying to see if we can find any more glitches on this level. So if you want to play around with that, you can. There are some videos on my channel if you want to check them out and play around with that. Here, you want to move to the ledge, then jump down, rather than spam space as early as possible. Because the little slide he does in that animation, it takes longer than if you just get to the edge and then drop down. But in this tent, again, just rewind if you have to, but follow the exact route I go.
He's outside and on the move again, Sam.
But for the most part, this is basically a game that's on wheels, and you're just following tracks. Hey, Albie, how's it going?
Oh, crap! See him! He's right over there! Open fire! Show yourself. We know you're here.
Heads up, Sam. The police are pulling back from your location.
Any idea why?
I'll tap into their Como to find out.
Everybody out! Now!
I'm seeing him exit the cafe. He's headed for the parkway, Sam.
You want to make sure you run that side of those two pedestrians are on that side. As soon as the car blows up, you can retry the checkpoint. That way we skip that little cutscene there. And then we run up as soon as we can. A good thing to note here is if you aim roughly at someone and then aim in, it will automatically go for their head in this game for some reason. It's sort of aim assist. That's very easy. You literally just aim at the first dude. If you can make the auto aim work, you just roughly aim at the second dude, instantly press the zoom in button, which is for me shift, and you just instantly get the headshot, and that way you can move over to these two dudes. I usually shoot him, and then him.
There's another batch coming at you, Sam.
But personally, if you try and just spam there, you won't get any headshots, and they'll just kill you. So just take it a bit slow, and it's usually better. And then there, you can zoom into the car, mark the dude on the left, kill the dude in front of the other, mark the other dude, and then you can instantly execute the other two. Because you'll shoot him through that. Because if you try and shoot him through that with a normal bullet, you can't, and so you have to wait for him to move out, and sometimes he'll be... His AI will just stay behind there for ages. And again, when this goes black, that's when the split is. And then we spam enter, and then we do another retry checkpoint. You want to move left, and then go down here, into these vents. It's pretty straightforward, that level. It's long because of cutscenes. I did not mean to go up on that pole. Here, what you want to do is, as soon as you go over, you want to zoom in, kill the dude there, get a headshot, and as soon as you fire, make sure to death from above the other guy. So what we'll do is zoom in, bang, and then ta-da. That way those two are done. Then we run around here, and then we slide into here. Occasionally, you will get caught on the vent, and you'll have to move back out, and then go back into the vent. We want to just get the C4, then we go back the way we came, jump up, we roll because it's faster, and then we run. I go in front of the camera because it's easier, and then we want to sort of stay in the shadows, but not, you don't have to too much in easy, because he still won't detect you. Then once you get in here, you drop down, activate the C4. Once you activate the C4, you want to retry checkpoint. If you're used to it with a mouse, for me sometimes, this is the only part of the game where if I move my mouse, it will recenter it at the center and go to the main menu. I've accidentally gone to the main menu, but for here, just make sure you click retry checkpoint. And you just turn around, go back through the vent. The reason we do that is because it resets the enemy's positioning after that. And it means we can just run past everything there. And it's faster than if we didn't retry the checkpoint and just tried running as soon as possible. Because you still have to wait before you're getting into the elevator. But then here we have another FMV. It's still third echelon, so we don't split that.
Sam, one thing third echelon.
But this is the most difficult level of the entire game. Here, I will retry a checkpoint because it is faster. And again, like we've done before in a few spots, we just zoom in and walk sideways because it's slightly faster. Now the fun is going to start. That's right, bro. This is not going to be fun. This is a very difficult level.
Thank you. I'm sorry, sir, but
And then we just have to sit through this cutscene. After the cutscene ends, don't press any movement keys. Just spam 3 and space. That way we change to our frag grenades and jump over the counter. And then I use A and W to get a direct diagonal move.
Main power is offline.
Because it works out the most efficient.
In 5, 4,
to go straight round there.
2, 1, 0.
Once she says 0, that's usually when I throw grenades.
Security doors are closing.
Those grenades were terrible. I have not done that in a while. But that room is terrible because of the moving shutters. Sometimes the way that Sam throws the grenade is sometimes like a girl and sometimes like someone who plays baseball for a living.
I'm sorry, sir, but I'm afraid the office is closed for the
But yeah, we usually wait until the person on the announcer says 0, then we throw the grenades. That's usually a rough estimate of where the 2 dudes at the end will be in the optimum position to throw a grenade at them.
Security alert. Main power
Occasionally you'll throw it too far
Emergency power will be online in 5,
and kill the one behind,
4,
and then the other dude will just start running towards
2,
you.
1, 0. Security doors are closing.
But that was actually very good. Killed the 2 dudes. And then here you want to make sure you have your gun out. We get to the second red line here, and we'll get a checkpoint. That way, the skip we're about to do, we can just retry checkpoint if we fail it. But yeah, we get a skip there. We get the gun out here because it seems to be more consistent if you have your gun out than if you don't. But you get to about here. Make sure you're not completely parallel with it, but going slightly as if you're walking slightly into that banister there. But yeah, we get to about here, move into the stairs and roll. Sometimes you'll have to move into it a little, so we go from A and just move over into W, and then Sam will do that a little, and hopefully eventually he will just clip onto the railing. This is very inconsistent and very temperamental, but it's a very good glitch. I think this might work. Yeah. I held down W too long there. But yeah, it's very precise. So again, I fell, but because I got the checkpoint, all I do is go here, turn back around, and try it again. That didn't work. If you try and do it slow, it sort of doesn't really work. So you have to do it all at once. There we go. Sort of when he like glitches up into it, you want to act as if it's like the bush in Airfield. That way you sort of, you can't move back up the stairs. You can only do it one way, moving down. That's sort of the best way I can explain that. And then here I press caps lock so that he stands up and only walks. It's a good way of getting precise aiming down on that. Unpress caps lock so he's not walking. Then we get into cover here. Move across. That way his head's past here. You want to look as if you're aiming over the cover. Look back into the wall. And then let go of cover so we move back into it. But as close to that corner as we can get it. Now you want to line your camera up to about here. So as we roll in, like with the fence in Airfield, we swing our camera right. So you sort of have to wait for Sam to drop down just the tiniest amount, and then we click roll, and then we'll swing our camera right. So, because if you don't wait for him to drop down, you'll just get back into cover like that. So I'll do it a bit faster now, like that. You'll sort of like move into the glass rather than on the railing, and then when you do that, then you roll and then look to the right. As soon as we get in and get the frame drop or the checkpoint goggles, we try the checkpoint. Then as soon as we do that, hold down W, and then when we change from this coloured flooring onto that coloured flooring, you tap A or left just slightly, and then spam space to get over the barrier, like this. And then I crouch here, and then change over to the remote mines. That might be a little temperamental for you. You might find different setups a bit better. But after we get over there, I just crouch so that the timing's right for when we need to move again. You can see on these walls here, where the laser is, there's a slightly lighter part in the like little indent of the pillar. When the lights move back up, they'll move back down. As soon as the bottom laser hits that indent in the slightly lighter color of the indent, that's when we start moving again. So okay, because my mouse moved, that was terrible, but I'll try and do it all at once. So we jump over, you see it as it goes, hits that indent, we move over here, move past the pillar, jump over. That way we get through that entire room as fast as possible without needing to know where the lasers are. And then we just follow up there. Here is the hardest part in my opinion, and that is you go up against the printer, move your camera slightly left until the prompt for jumping up appears. You jump up and then you instantly drop down and you're onto the printer. You want to roll not right at the edge of the here, otherwise you'll just fall down or fall too far. So we'll do that again. Move across about here, I'd say. No, a little further than that. So we go, and then roll. That was a bit too much. But as soon as you know you're about to get across there, you want to move your camera in line with the banister. You can sort of time it right if you do 2 rolls sometimes. Well, I didn't even crouch. Might help. So 1. You can sometimes spam that, and then you just walk across here. Make sure you do it safely. If you get used to it, you can sort of run that way, and then we roll until we get onto here. Move up, and then we get onto cover here. And then, like at airfield, when we drop down an elevation, we look through. The difference here is that you can get on cover on the other side, and you'll start moving up for some reason. Don't know why, it just works. But this is a very awkward place to do it, so we'll drop down. You can see I'm through. You want to sort of, at the same time, let go of W, let go of cover, swing your camera 180 degrees, and then get back onto cover on the other side of the wall. You can't do this slow. I've not managed to do it slow, so we do that. Altogether, that was, you hold down cover and W, you let go of both, 180 degree camera, get back into cover. All in as fast as you can do it. And then we're still staying on cover, and we just move right. That way we get past here. When we get to about here, you just shoot the wall, and as you're shooting, you let go of cover. So that way he'll push his hand out, and you'll move back on top of here. Then we just run across, and we get to sort of that corner there, and then we slide off. That way, if you just run off, you can sometimes dip down there, and that way you can't complete the level. But we get down here. Quite like again on airfield, we just move down. As soon as our elevation goes down, we look over the cover to do a pistol clip, and we'll get through that wall. So you do that, and then you can go through the wall. If you want to, and do the consistent way of doing it, where I'm going to do a consistent here, but we want to change to remote mines, throw it about there, go to this couch, look roughly in that direction, get there, and like the bush, we get up on top of here. You want to make sure you're at the top, and we do the pistol clip the consistent way we do it. So we swing around as if we're like swinging him through the wall, and then as soon as we get there, you want to make sure you're completely looking directly at that wall, and then you let go and you go through. But because I did that slow, it sort of didn't work. You can, if you get here, try and use a remote mine so we get on top of here, and that way you can do the old way. I'll see if I can get on top. If he just glitches out here, I'll just retry the checkpoint. Because he might clip on top of there. No, okay. Right, we'll just try that again. So again. Okay, I moved too much to the left. Again, we just hold down W, tap A, spam space. And then we change the remote mines here. When those lasers get to that point in the wall, we just walk across. If you just run, you will get detected by a laser that's sort of at body height, no matter what. And again, jump up here. Jump up there, drop down. 2 rolls. That was a bit too fast. 1, 2, and we'll do this a bit faster to show you the difference in the speed. There we go. We got to cover again. That didn't work. We want to make sure we stay on this banister though. There we go. And move up. Shoot, 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 shoot. We'll move back over. But again, we just do the pistol clip at the next bit consistently. The consistent, safe way. We'll do it here as well. Like that. There we go. And then we'll do it again in this bit, where I usually only do it consistent because you have to be further along on the wall, which that does cause. It's sort of hard to do very slow. You have to do it fast for it to really make consistent. And then we just run past. And then we use the rest of our remote mines to kill these last guards here. So we throw one there, explode him, throw another, kill those two. And then the split is just when the smoke makes the entire screen black. There. And then we spam enter, and then retry checkpoint as soon as we're in. Like that. And then we just run. Here is a very hard way of doing it. We get to here, zoom in, get another, zoom out. As soon as we're through the fence, we use a portable EMP. Run, grab him, mark him. As soon as we hit the bricks here, we use another EMP. Punch him. That was all very fast, but I'll explain it. So, you run. You look roughly where those three dudes are standing. Press Q. You'll mark 100% of the time that one dude that I did. You crouch at when the bush starts. You zoom in. Mark the other dude. Just keep rolling until you get through the fence. As soon as you get through the fence, you use the EMP. Run to that dude like I did. You want to punch him. That way you get the mark and execute ready. You want to swing back round as they're detecting you to get that third dude that's in the middle. You run across to the bricks. Use another EMP there. That's usually where I use it. It will stun everyone. You jump over. You can then mark the last guy, or you can just punch the dude you have to interrogate, and then as they shoot you, like in the EMP cutscene of White Box, it will take you out. He'll be on the floor. You can mark the other dude and then just kill everyone, like I just did. So I'll go through that while people are not here. So I'll move back out here. So as we're running this stretch here, we run, look roughly there, we press Q, we slide here, zoom in, mark the other dude, and we just roll. That way we don't get detected early. We use a portable EMP here, run, press C, punch him, mark the last dude that's there, run, use the EMP just as we cross this part of the bricks, jump over, mark him, punch him. If you haven't marked him whilst in the animation of punching him, you mark him. When you drop him because you're getting shot at, you execute everyone. Then from here, we jump up here, change to our remote mines, move into this little bit here. My setup is this little darkened patch of the texture there. We just press F and spam it until we explode. Then we should get pushed out of bounds. We didn't, but we'll do that again. Now we did. You want to make sure you crouch as you do that. You'll hit an invisible wall here. As you get pushed around it, as you try and walk around it, you want to make sure you roll. That way you roll over the invisible barrier that's there. Like so. Now the camera will make you do that, but all you have to do, stand up, move towards it, and then press D. And as you do that, you want to swing your camera slightly that way. That way when you run across, you don't hit that wall. And you have to press W again. It's just the faster way of doing it. And here, you want to make sure not to go right to the edge, because the edge stops. As you see, my bullets are going through the texture. The edge stops before the texture does. So about there. So you want to go to... Ooh, that's a bit far. Okay. That. There. And then all you do is you line up just so you don't run into that wall, but just enough so you keep the momentum as you run off. So we run. That wasn't a very good angle. But it means we get to show that again in normal speed of what it should look like. So we mark him, crouch, zoom, mark again, unzoom, roll. As we go through, EMP, punch him, get the last execute, EMP, mark, punch, and just spam the execute button. Easy as that. We change the remote mines, running to the corner, darken texture, spam F, explode ourselves. Then we get across, visible wall, roll over it, and then we across. Until we get to, you want to make sure you sort of experiment with how far you can go. That seems to be good enough. There we go. And then you land on here, drop down to here. Make sure not to drop into the pipe because you won't get back out. But then we do this safely. Drop down to here. Crouch. Pop up. Throw a remote mine. You'll make sure you stand when you do that. And then throw the remote mine. Don't crouch again. Explode the remote mine and you'll pop back up into bounds. We'll jump over here. Run into this corner. As we do that, we throw a remote mine. During him throwing the remote mine, oh, sorry, I messed the mic there. As soon as the remote mine lands where it needs to land, swing your camera around so it looks that way, and then explode it. The reason we do that is because if you do that after you've thrown it and then look, Sam's model won't turn, but the camera will. So we have to do it all in once. There we go. And then we're on top of here. You want to experiment with that if remote mines work for you, or if sticky cameras work for you, or proximity mines, grenades, sort of. Doesn't matter as long as you use any of the explosives we have left. So that's sticky camera, proximity mine, remote mine, grenades. You've got a lot of tries to get through this. But as soon as you get on top of here, we'll walk into there, and sort of like the airfield skip again, we move our camera that way as we drop down and roll through. So we roll, move our camera through, that way we get through the bars. You sometimes get caught there, and there's not much you can do about it. You can sometimes explode your way out of it, and then try it again. But other than that, you'll just have to retry the checkpoint, and it'll be right at the beginning of the level.
Right
and here,
about then, things
skip the FMV with enter.
Complicated. For some reason.
And then we can't retry checkpoint here. But we will start with EMPs, which is what we want. And then the skip that we're about to do is very difficult. You want to jump once, and then wait for him, take him out like that. Jump, and then as soon as we go through, spam. That way, everyone's stunned, and you can just run past everything like that. Here is the very difficult part. Change your remote mines here. Run into this corner. My setup is when that arrow is in the center of that circle and the texture there. Then we jump, press A once, and then press Control. That way we drop onto here. Go onto cover here. Move to the left. As soon as we move over, let go, and you can still move over onto the barrels. If you just try and move over, you'll just drop down there. You have to be on cover to be able to make that work. Then you want to make sure your camera is sort of in that direction. So as you press W, you walk into the gate. And as you'll get used to where the barrels are, but you want to roll into that corner there, but don't move your camera. So it's sort of like that. And you'll stand up, throw a remote mine there, explode it. We'll get to here. Look straight down as far as you can go. Throw the remote mine. Zoom in so that when you turn, so you get Sam to face out of bounds. What you want to do then is drop, and as you stand up, explode the remote mine, except the remote mine has disappeared. So you want to do it fast enough so that it doesn't. So we do that. Sometimes it doesn't work very well if you do it very slow. So we'll try and speed that up, but not at an impossible pace to follow. So all in once, roll across, throw remote mine down. Occasionally you'll go straight to the top here, but there we go. Just like that. The reason we do that is because Sam's model is half in the area and half out of the area. So because he's half in, he doesn't get exploded fully out of bounds. And if we fall to the bottom, we have to retry the checkpoint. But if we're fully inside, he won't clip to the top at all whatsoever. So you have to do it during the animation of him standing up. And then when we're on here, we just roll over here, stand up, throw remote mine roughly there. Make sure you aim in around there. If we detonate it, that way we get back on top. If you do fall out of bounds there, don't worry, just wait for him to fall to the bottom of the map. He'll clip back up to the top. And then we just make sure we run sort of into the fence, because there is an invisible wall there. But if we move down, we can't get back up. So you want to make sure you're against the fence. Again, just play around with that enough until it's consistent for you. And then all we do, run past there, get to the second EMP generator, and it will start the end of the cutscene. Like that.
Vic, you got it? Loud and clear. Hey, Sam, how's that for timing? Vic,
But yeah,
Vic, get us out of
that
here.
is a very difficult mission to get the skips down on.
No kidding.
So I would practice them a lot more than...
This is gonna get messy.
So Reservoir and Third Echelon are the biggest two for learning the skips. Then you probably want to do Airfield. No, White Box, then Airfield. So yeah, those are the main four you should probably practice, in my opinion. And then again, we split once the camera goes into the helicopter and goes to a black screen. So we just have to wait for this cutscene to play through.
They told me you were dead.
Sam, I'm sorry, but if I hear that Black Arrow radio chatter right, we are out of time. I'll let you sit next to her, but we gotta go. No!
And split. And then we just spam enter and make sure as soon as you can press escape.
Pennsylvania Avenue.
Occasionally here, I've had it, the challenges and the checkpoint be locked out. I don't know what causes that. If it happens, you just have to sit through this entire cutscene. There's no way of not skipping it if that happens. I don't know why it causes that, but we just try the checkpoint here. And we move. We move forward and change to our remote mines. Run across. Explode those two. Throw another there. Explode the rest there, and then we throw another to kill the last two. If you do that faster, it's actually easier, because the AI will be where you expect them to be if you do it fast. Now at the center of this little drain, we just then slide to get the most distances before we walk. And then just follow the route I take.
They gotta call the National Guard. They already did, man. Saw this whole line of Humvees heading into the city. Guys in black body armor were getting out and setting up checkpoints.
It's not working.
That
We
ain't
need
the guard,
defib.
That's the
Don't have the goddamn defib. We don't have anything now. Continue compression. And what?
Again, we'll call your parents and make sure they're all right.
Or what if they're not all right? We don't even know what's happening.
And then when we can use Sam again, we want to change to EMP grenades, so that's number 5. And then throw one. Exactly, and we just spam these as we run across this entire area. And as soon as you run out of them, it will automatically change to flashbangs. And then we just get to this weapon stash, press space, and then escape instantly again. Like that. That way, all of our grenade gadgets are replenished. We press 5 again. We do the exact same thing for these set of guards here.
The government has declared national security emergency.
God damn! Mother! Grenade! Get down!
That way it stuns them enough so you can just walk past them. And then here, we spam enter to skip this F and B.
It was a bad day to work at the White House.
We don't reach our checkpoint because it doesn't do anything here. But we change to remote mines, so that's number 6. Throw it at the tanker, blow it up. Wait for people to run out, and then we throw another. Usually that kills everyone there. Then we throw another and kill everyone like that. We usually should have another remote mine here. Makes it easier later on, but we'll throw another, explode everyone there. Then what you want to do is you want to change to proximity mines or grenades, whichever one you feel more comfortable with at this point. Personally, I think proximities would probably do better here. We just kill everyone. There is one dude behind that truck there. If you want to kill him, you can. It's probably easier if you throw frag grenades here, in my opinion. But again, if it works better for you doing something else, do something else.
Got it. On my way.
And then we just run straight past. Again, if it works better with you for like even sticky cameras, if it works better and faster for you, do that. I would say change to proximities, remote mines, or grenades first because they're faster. And then again, as soon as the screen goes black, it goes through that wall.
What was going on inside the wall?
Split, and as soon as we skip that infantry, retry the checkpoint, and we'll save a couple of seconds. And here you want to change to EMP, so that's number 5. You can use the mouse wheel to change all your gadgets, but in my opinion, it's a bit faster for me personally to do the numbers. So don't worry about those two. They shouldn't do anything, shouldn't kill you, as long as you're far enough away from them. Here, as you run into this room, you throw an EMP, you punch that dude to get your mark and executes for the next room. But as you run into the next room, you throw another EMP. So we throw another, and we shoot the chandelier. That way we get as much stun on the enemies as possible. And then here, we change to remote mines. Mark these two guys here. Make sure it's far enough away from Samson that we don't kill him with that remote mine, but kill those two over there. Execute, and then we interrogate him. Easy as that. It's very easy. You can, like I did, line it up if you want to, but as you get used to it, you can start doing it much faster. And like interrogations, just spam C.
Mr. Washed Up Spy, we can forget about it right now, because I'm bulletproof. Goddamn bulletproof, you hear?
Oh, really?
Oh, you shot me! Oh!
You know, you need to work on that whole bulletproof thing.
And we run over here. Make sure we have remote mines. Don't run too far close to that door, because it will explode and it will knock you over and you'll lose time and possibly die. But as soon as it opens, throw a remote mine, explode it. Apart from that, just spam. Just press 5, push your EMP grenades, and it will change as soon as you finish to your flashbangs. Then again, we just keep spamming enter until it starts. And then all of our gadgets are replenished. And as soon as we get to there, we throw an EMP. Don't worry if you get too far. Like, you want to do it if you're too early. Too early is better than too late, because you'll get shot at before everyone gets stunned, and you might get killed further in this room or by the turret, and that'll slow you down. But here, you pretty much just spam as many EMPs and flashbangs as you can, but try not to use all of them. But I usually only use 3 here. Throw one at the wall, throw one further in, get through the door, throw another. If you get past that, that's a checkpoint, so you can do the next bit pretty easy. The fast way of doing this turret is just run, and then get into cover here, change to cover, but before you hit the wall, you uncover yourself, stand back up. And if you want to do this safe, you change to EMPs, that's number 5, throw one at the back room, and then change to your remote mines to kill the dude on the turret. So that's number 6. So we go number 5, throw one in, number 6, that way we fire it, we kill him. And here we want to keep at the remote mines.
I'm close.
Throw one at the back wall, wait until you can see again, explode, because there's another one there that drops down after a little while. Throw one back there, kill him, and we just run past. Here you want to change to proximity mines, just because it's easier to set up the last glitch if we still have remote mines. So you want to throw one as the floor as you go in, throw one at the back couch, and one at the back wall for him. Then here for this setup, you want to throw a proximity mine there, change to your remote mines, change it to the exact same space, move back in so we don't get attacked by it at all. It will double blow up. That way the pot doesn't cause as much trouble with this table, and the table is where we sort of need it. But this pot is not in a very good place at all, so I'm going to throw another remote mine to hopefully move it out of the way. It's more out of the way. We can just walk into it and hopefully it'll get out of our way. That should be enough out of our way. We want to make it so that the feet of the table are against that door. So we want to flip it. There we go. And you want to just shoot it until it sort of does that. Ooh, okay, that was... I turned it way too much. That should be good. If it's not, we'll change it. It means you can, like the bush and airfield, do the A and W on the corner of that, because it's slightly not a direct angle, it's slightly an angle, so we can walk up it. And we just do the safe, consistent, go through door method, because usually when I don't, you get stuck in the door, but like that we get through. But don't try the checkpoint there. You just stand up, walk across, wait until we get the frame drop, like there, retry the checkpoint, and you're in the very final stretch of the game.
I was wondering when you were going to get here.
Personally, I think this game is sort of easy to pick up.
Payback in for the stun he pulled at the airfield.
But again, if it's your first try doing it, don't be too up in arms of trying to do it as fast as possible. Just sort of get the route down. Once that becomes familiar to you, then it starts getting fast.
Fuck you, Reed.
But yeah.
Of course, we'll be just a little too late to rescue her. And you'll be shot multiple times trying to escape. It's classic,
all of the people involved in this
You don't honestly believe that
current route and the skip findings are myself. Most of the route is down to a runner named Strongbird TV. That's his name on Twitch. On speedrun.com, it's Mr. Gamer, of course, if you see on the leaderboards. In addition to that, the person who has found a lot of the skips alongside me is Sir Kirchu. The third echelon railing, we have that consistency down to Repmere. And all of the skip, and personally the first skip was found just because I watched the mod Johnny Hand Cobbler's weird video about white box, and so I just started messing around with grenades, and that sprung the route into what it is now. So those people are the people I want to shout out. So there's Johnny Hand Cobbler from the mod of the Speedrun. Here you just spam C to punch him. So shout out to Johnny Hand Cobbler, Strongbird for routing it, and Sir Kirchu for finding some of the clips.
Still don't get it, do you?
But yeah, this run as a whole is, once you start learning it, it's very easy. It's a lot of fun to just break the game. If you like games like lane glitches, outbound stuff, it's a very fun game.
Very good, Sam. You finally see. You son of a bitch! You cost me 3 years of my life.
And then
3 years when I thought my daughter was dead.
Timer ends when the last input is put in. So when we kill Reed.
Captain, thank you for rescuing me. Now, I don't see anyone else here but us, and I'm sure you don't either.
Oh, man. Let's get you out of here.
Thank you.
So we just spam the shoot button.
Oval Office is secure.
Left click or right trigger on the controller.
Notice is safe and secure.
And then we'll stop the timer. There. That was, in my opinion, I think that should be a good enough tutorial for anyone wanting to learn the game. Just watch this video. And in the places, again, if you want to sort of find your own consistencies with any of the skips, do so. If something doesn't work for you,
Talked about learning
do it. What a time. That is a terrible time. But if you beat that on your first run, that is a good time. Anything faster than 2 hours is a good time, in my opinion. My first run on this game was 2 hours and 4 minutes, and that was on console. And we didn't have any of the skips at all, so
I love you like a
If you beat 2 hours, that's a very good run in my opinion. Just keep running it. Get used to the skips. Get used to the game.
Family, right?
And have fun with it. Yeah, if you have any questions, don't feel free to leave comments. Join my Twitch, ask that. If I'm live, it's all good. But that's the tutorial in a nutshell.